back, everyone, to this week of Creep It Weird. And as always, I am Natty, and this is
Liz.
Whoop, whoop. All right, so we're partying hard. It's a Natty-sode this week, so I'm bringing the goods, and we are wandering away from cryptids this week. I know that's usually what I bring to the table, but this one's a curse.
Ooh.
I figured you probably like this one, and you probably know about it because I'm pretty sure you've covered it or we've talked about it before. So way back on the timeline of life, in 1341 BC to be exact, a boy was born that would leave an imprint on history that will never die. This young man was left with the world on his shoulders at the ripe young age of 9 once his father passed on. However, as many in that day and age, he only lived to be about 19 or so. And oh my goodness, before he had to meet Anubis after the suspected bout of malaria. Anything? I wish, if you guys can't see the video tier, go get the video tier. The look on her face. The wheels are turning. All right. November 4th, 1922, archaeologist Howard Carter and financial contributor Lord Carnarvon, I love that name, stood in a dimly lit opening of the most intact pharaoh's tomb in the Valley of the Kings. I'm like leaving breadcrumbs. Eventually, she's going to take a bite out of the sandwich, guys.
No, I think I'm there, but I'm waiting to see. Because you said it's not a cryptid, and it's not this, so it's just a...
It's a curse. Ah, ha, ha, ha. Now, it took until February 16th of 1923 for the seal to the tomb to be broken, and this tomb belonged to none other than King
Tut.
Yeah.
Why do it, though? Like,
common.
just don't. Even if you don't actually get cursed, don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, I understand the quantity of, say, a Native American, help me out here, not graveyard. There's a word for it. Burial ground.
Burial ground?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Burial ground, or another mass grave, or another this, that, or the other. Like, I understand that in theory, it's just, well, I mean, I guess technically there are more than one because they would bury the slaves and everything with them so they'd have them in the afterlife. But either way, don't go digging up graves.
No,
I don't care how
not
old,
a good idea.
How extravagant. I don't care. Just don't do it.
Have you ever heard a fairy tale begin once they dug up the grave?
Once upon a time, they excavated this
and they
tomb.
lived happily ever after. That's not how it goes.
Oh, by the way, I'm having some cranberry and vodka, just to clarify. So if I get a little blah, 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 that's probably why. It's delish, and it's in my cute little ghosty cup I made.
Cranberry is so good.
Oh, so good. All right, so his tomb remained untouched for more than 3,000 years before these assholes broke in. And on one hand, these men became instant celebrities for their discovery. But on the other hand, there's said to be some pretty horrible curses associated with violating the embalmed remains that bring about massive bad luck, severely traumatizing illnesses, and even death. And I cannot speak. We got to record more often.
Have some more cranberry. More vodka, more cranberry.
Yeah. More vodka. More vodka. More vodka. My Russian self. More
Natasha.
vodka.
Yeah.
Yeah. My name is Natasha with more vodka. I don't know why all of a sudden I get very manly whenever I ask for a beverage. My voice suddenly goes down about 20 octaves. Now, again, these archaeologists tried to pry the poor boy's remains from the insides of his coffin, and they damaged him. So we're already, one, you break into this poor guy's grave. Then you're trying to get him out of the grave, and you break him.
Oh my gosh.
Rookies. I don't know what they're doing. But this increased the difficulty of determining the cause of death for King Tut because, well, they were, what's the word I'm looking for? My brain's not working. I did take my Adderall, right? They disturbed the, help me out. When you walk in a crime scene, you're not supposed to be there, you start fucking with shit. You contaminate the crime scene. But you contaminated the burial ground. Tampering, thank you. Tampering with the burial ground. That is the word I was looking for. Oh my gosh. Now, rumor had it that the following was written somewhere on the tomb itself. It says, quote, "Death will come on swift wings to him who disturbs the peace of the king." End quote. because that's not ominous. Why do
No,
we
but
have
who
stuff like that on
translated
graves?
it?
Yeah, for one, who translated it, and I never saw exactly where it was at. So was it really there? I
Yeah, but
mean,
that would be kind of nice to put something like that. I kind of want to do that on my tombstone now.
I was getting ready
Like,
to ask, why don't we do that nowadays?
you walk over this, then
Yeah.
I got to make up a good curse that's going to happen.
Don't step on a grave or you'll wait. It's crack. That's crack. Never mind. We'll come up with something. Now, supposedly people have said that that is false and it wasn't actually written anywhere. Some say that it was. I've never been there, nor can I translate any type of text other than English, and that's only if the person's handwriting is decent. So there's that too. Who knows? But
Yeah.
there are rumors that after the discovery and before they could even crack open the tomb, a cobra made its way to Carter's home and quite literally ate the canary. He had a pet canary, a snake, a cobra, broke in, slithered on in, climbed, I guess, slithered on up the pole or up to the cage or whatever, and ate his bird. There's got to be some
But that
symbolism there.
that could happen too, though. Where exactly was this? Are those snakes native to that area? Is this something else that happens and they're just making a bigger deal out of it because they just disturbed this tomb? This
Well, but
yeah.
this is his home, so I don't think it was with him. I think it was at his house, but I don't know where he lived or anything like that. But I did just look it up, and a canary symbolisms joy, optimism, and delicate beauty, all of which was crushed by this amazing cobra. I love snakes. I was just having a
I
conversation about a
hate them.
python. Oh my gosh! So
Ugh.
my boyfriend hates them too, and I was talking about it. I was like, oh my gosh! And I was this close, wee close to getting a python. The
Ugh.
only reason I did not get the python and I got a puppy instead was one because I did not have the equipment to house a python. But that is the whole reason. So I renovated my dresser and painted it, and it's oh my god, it's dope. It's so awesome. It's all black. It's like a matte black finish with these awesome custom handles. And I was going to get a terrarium to set on top and put a python in it. But I just never got around to it. And right around the time I was looking for the python, someone's like, I have these puppies. And I was like, cool, I could use a set of teeth to eat someone when they walk in my house. So we got the puppy,
Okay.
who now is a pain in the ass, but it's okay. Eventually
Yeah,
he'll grow out of it.
it's
Tax
the
money is,
movements I hate on the snakes.
oh, they're so just, to me, everybody's like, oh, they're so gross. I'm like, to me, I'm like, they're so slow and graceful and just powerful, like to hold the amount of
Mm.
strength it takes to move your body that way and then also be able to strike so quickly. Granted, these are constrictors, but anyway, but the
So
cobra
can a
strike.
cat. My cat's fast.
My cat is, well, sitting in my sink right now because she's weird.
Okay.
Unfortunately, only 5 short months after the discovery of the tomb, Carnarvon was found dead at age 57. His cause of death was determined to be pneumonia supervening on, oh my goodness, erysipelas. Erysipelas? Anyway, meaning a streptococcal infection of the skin and underlying soft tissue.
Caught something when he went in there.
He suffered from an extremely high fever, excruciating pain, pneumonia in both lungs, and eventually heart and respiratory failure. The chain of declining health began after the exposure to a mold named Aspergillus after entering the tomb. Some experts disagree and say that it most likely felt ill before he had ever even made it to the tomb. It just so happened that the symptoms took effect shortly after entering. But I have heard of this happening before where you get these weird, strange molds or these viruses and bacteria that are stuck in these, sarcophagi or whatever, and these burial spaces that they're sealed. So you basically have
Yeah.
a prehistoric, well, not prehistoric, but a archaeological Ziploc baggie. And hell, people get sick with the flu every year because the variant changes slightly over time. So
Yeah.
imagine this 3,000-year-old virus or mold that we have no idea what to do with it. Other thing, too, isn't it typically dry and hot, not moist and cool? I mean, I guess if you're inside a pyramid, I guess it could be cool, but I don't see moist being a thing.
if it was sealed upright, like if it was sealed enough and maybe underground or towards the very top of the ground, it could lock in some moisture.
Okay, I can see that. All right, so that makes sense. But basically, this is kind of what we're going on. So we have one guy down. So after this particular
One guy
death,
down.
one guy down. So we're gonna have a tally going.
All right.
So after his death, Carnarvon's half brother, Sir Archibald Douglas Reed, met his demise as well. So that's two tallies. He was said to be the one that did the X-rays on the mummy, and his first affliction was developing radiation dermatitis in his fingers. Following his slowly deteriorating health, he died during abdominal surgery later on. So unrelated. I mean, you get the radiation in your fingers. That's one thing. You get it from the mummy. But then you die during an abdominal surgery. But again, this is what, in the 20s?
They could be
30s?
somewhat related on that, but again, he could have had radiation on him for some reason. Look at Madame Curie. She can't be opened until even her like notes and stuff have to be sealed up till thousands of years, way past when we're going to be alive.
We all know that they're just covering something up and they want it to be long after so that nobody cares anymore. I'm getting on the conspiracy boat. Toot toot.
Listen, I am telling you, this year I am on any and all conspiracy boats. Before I was like, oh, they're crazy. They're crazy.
See?
This year, every conspiracy theory thing is right. I'm with you. I am open to any and all suggestions.
Well, in that case, cracking the knuckles in case you can't see the video thing. It's not for this one, but by golly, we're going to have some conspiracies coming up that I almost picked one today. But anyway, so we're up to two tallies. British archaeologist Hugh Evelyn White hanged himself and was said to have left a note that said, I have succumbed to the mummy's curse. So we're up to three.
If he took his own life, though, that could have been that he was just projecting, thinking something was going to come, but nothing actually was happening to him, unless something was, but wouldn't he mention it in the note?
Unless he's succumbing to the curse, like all these bad things are happening because of the curse, so now I'm exiting. I mean, I wouldn't want to write a whole novel before I got it. It'd be like, nope, this is why I'm outie. Who wants to sit and write a big long note? Who wants to write a big long note? That's too much effort. If you're thinking about doing it, then you're not going to write a long note.
All right.
I mean, would you?
I could never. I couldn't picture being in that situation where taking my own life would be an option.
Well, I can assure you, it does not make you want to write a long letter. That's more depressing.
Yeah.
Advocate for mental health. If you see something, say something. If you feel like it, dial, what is it? 988, isn't it? Please hold. Sorry, guys. All right. If you are in the US, 988. If you are feeling down or depressed or feel like you don't want to be here anymore, disclaimer there. Just put it there. Again, that is 988. Okay. They're there to help. Anyway, so we're up to three. So then Prince Ali Kamel Fahmy Bey, my goodness, Ali Kamel Fahmy Bey of Egypt was also murdered by a shot from his wife. Supposedly there was a gun in the house and the wife shot him, but you don't know. Maybe somebody possessed the wife.
Or he was doing something he wasn't supposed to with somebody else. That's what I always go to for those situations.
Potentially. But there's always that. So it's four. So four tallies.
Okay.
Another victim of the curse was said to be Sir Lee Stack. That's a hell of a name. The governor/general of Sudan. He was assassinated while being driven through the streets of Cairo. So it's five tallies. Arthur Mace from the excavation team also died of arsenic poisoning 6 years after finding the tomb. Now, we'll get into we'll dive into this here soon, so just bear with me. I'm fully aware of these time frames.
Mm-hmm.
Another victim, okay, well, hold on. Whoop. Okay, Richard Bell, Carter's secretary, was found smothered to death in his bed, and then his father committed suicide that next year. So we're up to 8. So after all these deaths, people attributed him to the mummy's curse. Carter still remained skeptical. However, he ended up dying of Hodgkin's disease at age 64. So we're up to 9 tallies. Most of the deaths were said to be a result of the mummy's curse, seemed to occur well in the past, or well past the discovery of the tomb. So I'm not really sure I would say that they're all because of the curse, but it is interesting that they all died fairly young or through non-natural causes. There were a few deaths close to the discovery date that appear to be very strange that I would comfortably say could be tied to the curse, but overall, they're kind of sporadic. We have different age groups, we have different methods of dying, we have different timelines. So, what would you think? Do you think the curse is real or bullshit? Curse or crap?
I would like to know how many out of how many. Was there 3,000 people there and this befell to 5 to 10 people?
Well, I know that generally
Like
excavation
what
teams are not very big. Now, with this one being
this
King
would have
Tut's curse, is huge.
yeah, I feel like they would throw anybody and everybody that they have on this one.
But you've got to factor in also there's getting approval for the dig. They've got to have certain people there. I'm sure that there's some sort of bureaucrat red tape to the excavation process and research, right? You can't just go in willy-nilly. And now there was a lot of coverage, I'm sure, but
Yeah, the
I feel like
journalists, scribes.
I would feel safe in assuming that there were 100 people or less on the dig, like of the
So
original excavation crew. I would say honestly, as far as going and looking and finding, I would say 50 or less. A safe bet on the finding of it and the initial, because at first they didn't know. They're just like, oh, we found this crypt, let's go in. They didn't realize who it belonged to. So I would say it's probably a pretty small amount or people involved in the dig.
even with just say it was 50%, you have 10%, so you have like it's a larger than normal amount of people to prematurely die. But I don't know if it's a curse so much as the mold, the chemicals, whatever you were exposed to, maybe insects, who knows what was in there
Mm-hmm.
that you brought home with you. So I
See,
don't think
and
curse, but
that's my
it's
thing is
probably not a good idea anyways to go in there and mess around with dead people.
a lot of people view it as, oh my gosh, all these, like some of these deaths have nothing to do with the excavation itself or being exposed to this or exposed to that. But to me, if it was a scientific realization, so they would like, for instance, the guy who died of the mold, he goes in, he gets the mold,
Mhm.
scientific thing. There's no curse involved there. It was just that there was mold in there. Now, to me, it's more likely that the curse would afflict the guy that committed suicide or maybe the guy who got shot, something weird that's like totally random, has nothing to do with the dig. I feel like that would be more attributed to a curse than a physical scientific thing that you picked up there. But don't
But
forget,
how safe
first
was that
casualty.
road?
I
The
don't
guy
know.
that was driving down the road, was that a dangerous area? Like that would all factor in, but
Well, he
I'm
was famous. He was a general, right? That was the general, the guy
so
in
who's to say he didn't
charge.
have a bunch of enemies?
True. But what if the curse allowed somebody to get a leg up and actually succeed? This
That's a
curse is going to
stretch.
move is going to move this barricade 30 minutes. Something, say there's a dog runs out in front of the car and it slows him down 2 minutes, and that 2 minutes is all it took to give this guy a line of sight to shoot this guy.
That's
Had he
really
been
far
2
reaching
minutes
though.
earlier, hey, just say it's a curse. You never know. No holds, no bars hold or whatever. No holds
Then
barred.
wouldn't that be
How does it go?
everybody that went in there then? No. Oh my gosh, you have me thinking now. No holds barred. Yeah.
Yeah.
But wouldn't that be absolutely everybody that went there and disturbed it? Everyone that walked past the threshold that they weren't supposed to pass?
But what if not everybody got a piece of something in there or touched a certain thing or walked into a certain space? What if it was all based on a specific thing? Like if somebody, you think if he's like a ruler, he's going to be like, oh, yeah, like these jewels are mine. Maybe he took a necklace or a pendant or a brooch or something.
But wouldn't we keep on hearing about it? Because there's so many things that came out of there that were placed in museums. So every curator at the museum and every person that was tending to it at the museum would have dropped dead.
See, that's the thing. I don't know. That's the glory of a curse. You don't know why it works. Maybe it was just that initial one. So what if it's like, okay, in The Mummy, Brendan Fraser, anyway, Brendan
Yeah.
Fraser in The Mummy, and remember they had the specific people open it? The slaves opened it and it sprayed them with acid and killed them. Or then it was like they opened the chest and it was only the guys that were there like actively opening the chest got it. But then it didn't bother anybody else.
Vaguely. I saw that so long ago.
Oh my gosh, I've watched it like a million times.
I should rewatch
I went on
it,
a Brendan Fraser
honestly.
kick. Like a couple weeks ago, I was on a Brendan Fraser kick. And I mean, I'm talking Bedazzled, Monkey Bone. I was watching all the goods. He's actually in a show called it's a new one, Rental Family. It was so good.
Yeah.
So good. Not nearly as attractive as he used to be. Obviously, definitely went from like
It's
an
it's
8 or
age. It
9 to
happens.
like a 1. But it was still a fantastic movie. Highly recommend it. It's on Hulu. Go watch
Hmm.
it. Anyway, but that's 9 people. But the one is like he died 6 years after. I'm like, okay, it's 6 years. There's no way the curse hung around for 6 years.
And this
You
was
know what I
of
mean?
which one?
The 6th year was the guy that died of Hodgkin's disease. I think he was the one
Yeah.
who financed the dig.
I don't think that's related.
But I mean, first casualty was that canary. Death to the joy and optimism.
But how could you prove like that's just too
It's a curse. You can't prove it.
but you could say what if it was the curse, but you could just say it's just as easy. What if it wasn't the curse? What if it's just
Exact.
bad genes?
That's the point.
Yeah, I'm leaning further and further away from this.
Okay, so Melissa's going towards crap. She's going down crap.
Yeah.
I would like to think that curses exist because the way I look at it is, especially with this guy being so high up, and I just watched this whole documentary on King Tut's curse and like how his famous bust that's in there with him, that gold bust, was actually repurposed from his stepmother. So the whole area, because he died so quickly and they needed to get him in the ground, obviously. And so they had this whole room and burial thing set up for his stepmother. That was supposed to be her space, but he died
Hmm.
suddenly and they were trying to hurry. And that's why a lot of the things you'll notice, like as far as it looks like a female versus a male.
Hmm.
And so a lot of times at first people thought it was for a female before they realized it was a boy. And then they repurposed the mask. So the mask, the face is his, but originally it had a different face on it. And they had removed it, crafted one from him, and stuck it on there for him. So he got a hand me down grave. Like it wasn't even meant for him.
That poor kid. The only thing I remember about him is he's like all bow-legged and inbred and this and that, and he just had a
Yep.
shit ton of health problems.
Yeah,
But
it was sad.
yeah.
But yeah, that's my thing is I thought that was really kind of crazy that they put him in this thing makeshift, and that's why a lot of the stuff doesn't see his is so different than you would see everywhere else because they weren't prepared
Hmm.
and they had to hurry. But think about also okay, we're gonna do a lot of mummy references here. So in the mummy, he finds they look like jewels, like the pendants of the Beatles in the wall, and he's taking his knife and scraping them
Oh,
out. And he's like pocketing them because, oh, these are valuable and they're shiny and blah, blah, blah. So he starts pocketing them all. And then they end up turning into real beetles and eating his ass. So what if it was kind of like that? Somebody, they just took certain things because, I mean, if you walk in, come on, let's be real here. Most people are going to be tempted with all the gold and the jewels and all of the things that are in here. Someone's going to pickpocket this shit. And
like
what
an
if this,
Aladdin situation with
yes,
the monkey.
yes, the monkey, exactly. So what if it was like
Apu,
that and
that was
the
his
people,
name.
yeah, Abu, and he died? What if they died because they took something or they touched something that shouldn't have been messed with, and it's just so happened that everybody else knew to keep their hands off?
Possibly, but why wait 6 years? Like I don't see
It's a
it. If it
slow
was like
burn.
everything happened in a month, or if it happened in like within a year, I'd be more about it. But the way they're so spread out, it's hard to be
Do you
on
know of
board with
any?
this one.
Do you know of any other curses?
Any other curses? Why are you putting me on the spot?
I was just curious. I didn't know if you, in all your like haunted stuff, I didn't know if curses ever got brought up a lot.
The first one I'm thinking
They're
of is like the
kind of a,
Bell's Witch when they used to go and take
yeah.
rocks from her cave.
See, you took a
And
rock
then,
from the cave,
or I mean,
or
Robert,
people, yeah, Robert, or you go,
Roback.
oh, sorry, Robert. By the way, thank you to everybody out there who's been commenting on that post and being interactive. We appreciate that. That was so awesome. I did not intend for there to be that much participation, but we do appreciate it greatly. But I did make sure I blocked his face out on purpose. I tried to be kosher about it. But there's some other places like the catacombs, or there's a church where someone you take a brick or a rock or whatever and they mail it back because they're like, fuck this, like all this horrible stuff's happening, and they write a letter and mail it back.
Actually, if you remember the Patreon bonus episode we did,
Mm-hmm.
Mercy Brown, somebody took her gravestone and gave it right back.
Yep. That's one of the things I was thinking
and
of.
Didn't they do that with Ed Gein too? Or am I making that up? I know they broke it, but I feel like somebody returned it.
Oh.
Whenever that happens, I always feel like something's happening at that house where they brought that tombstone. And what sicko steals a tombstone, by the way? But
that's a good point.
why else would you go and return it? You go through.
Well, there's a lot of people that have grave dirt, like from the grave. And I'm like, what are you going to do? Right? What are you going to do with that?
So weird.
So I vote we just play it safe and we never desecrate a grave.
That's a good idea.
Let's just be respectful of everybody and where they lay. And, well, I mean, unless it's out in the open and you got to move them. That's obviously, we don't want to have a body just laying in the street somewhere. Let's be clean about it. But just in general, I would say let's report the bones. Don't mess with the bones.
Report the bones. Don't mess with the bones. I like it.
If you see something, say something, but don't touch it. But yeah, that's what I have for King Tut's curse.
That's interesting. And I'm curious, what was the actual seal they had?
I don't know. They just said it was sealed up and they broke it. I don't know exactly.
King Tut tomb seal.
I just can't even imagine being the person to step foot in an area that hasn't been messed with in over 3,000 years. Talk about walking back on the time machine, man.
It literally looks like it's like a close up what I'm seeing, and it looks like a wardrobe where you'd hang your clothes.
Yeah.
And it just has rope tying the two things together. That was the seal. I don't know why I thought it would be more elaborate. I mean, you obviously have to wax poured or something.
There's got to be something. But then again, like I said, they were in a hurry.
They were in a hurry, but they put him in. Oh, well, it's repurposing hers, but the layer of the, what do you call it? The sarcophagi.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? How you just stack them in there like Russian nesting dolls almost.
Yes.
But with coffins.
I will never be in the situation, but I think that it would be cool. You'll never catch me dead in a desert. But it would be really cool to just step into that space where can you imagine the energy as an empath, how intense that would be? It's like I think you brought this up too. What were we covering when you brought this up? Maybe it was on a different episode where like the Chinese guy where they buried the army. They made him the
something
army.
clay army.
Yes.
I can't remember the word.
I mean, can you imagine walking in and I mean, how elaborate and detailed? Oh my gosh, it would be so amazing to witness.
Mm-hmm.
I would never in a million years go there, but I can't even fathom how insane it would be to have my 2 feet in this space.
I will happily go to a museum and see most of it recreated. And be content with that and not bring a curse home with me.
Yes, 100%. I am with you. So again, see something, say something, don't touch it.
They actually have a King Tut exhibit in Boston going on right now, which I was considering going to, but now after this episode, I think I'm going to go to.
That is for, see, look at the timing. I've had this in here for over a year. And I was just like, I think I'm going to pull this one out. We are too good. We are too connected.
Yep, yep.
We'll just go ahead and I guess wrap it up from here. Don't forget to go check out the social medias, like, share, subscribe, do all those things. If you can leave us a review on here, that helps tremendously. Like, I don't think you guys realize how much that helps us out overall.
I
Oh,
can see you now.
now you moved. Okay. If you have any stories or requests or anything like that, creepitweirdpodcast@gmail.com. Email us over there. Don't forget to check out the Patreon page. We do need to start working on our spirit box sessions because that would be super amazing. So we need to get those done. We got some stuff coming down the pike. We just got to kind of iron stuff out a little bit. I know I'm putting to bed Cloaked and Cosmic a little bit. I've been kind of slacking on it. We've been focusing on this. We just need to grow and spread the love. So make sure that you tell everybody. Hell, tell everybody. Tell the person on the bus. Tell the person in line at the grocery store. Yeah. Spread us around like podcast herpes. That's the only good time you want herpes.
My God.
But I guess, let's see, is there anything else? We got socials, we got the email, we got reviews, we got everything. Anything else?
I think that's it.
All right. So I guess we'll wrap it up and we'll talk to you next time. And don't forget to creep it weird. Bye.
Bye.